you guys know that we have a spiritual influencer with us today?
Oh.
I couldn't quite figure out what an influencer was, except for apparently they get lots of likes on the internet. But we've got a person here who's got her own internet ministry. And I am going to tell you she is a minister. She is, her church is called myonlinechapel.com. She's got 4 separate ministries through that. Spiritual support through celebration of life services, weddings, and loss counseling. Spiritual education through online and in-person classes and speaking. Spiritual leadership training through public speaking classes, consulting, admissions consulting, business consulting, and classes. Not least, self-preservation through guided meditation, sound and aromatherapy, anxiety release through consulting and talks on creating new relationships with fear and with yourself. It is my delight to introduce our guest speaker today, Reverend Michelle Hubbard. Thank you, Michelle.
When Sherry said we have a spiritual influencer here today, I was looking around. Who that is? Wow, thank you for that. Before I start, I want to say thank you to everyone on the team here who has just been so supportive and so welcoming. And it's so much fun to be able to meet Jana and Sherry and Smitty and Julia in person. So thank you so much for helping me get up here. I would like to say that I coordinated my talk because I knew what the daily word was for today, but I didn't. Or did I? That the daily word for today is I am, and I am going to be speaking about the I'm possible dream, using the power of I am to create your dream. It just kind of proves to me the serendipity of oneness. I have some notes, and I also have PowerPoint slides that you can read along with me. Smitty and I are going to be working together on that. So, I am. Pretty big words, it turns out. We first learn these words in the Old Testament when God appears to Moses. And Moses says, "By what name should I call you?" And God says, "I am who I am." Now our brain starts to wonder about that. Wait, God, I am, but I'm calling you that. But our soul starts to kind of sparkle with the brilliance of that simple way of already installing in us the belief in oneness. Because what we're being told is when you say I am, you are calling God forth to join you. Well, it makes it pretty important what follows those 2 words then, doesn't it? So when we say I am, we have the opportunity to identify with God itself. In Unity, we proclaim at least every Sunday that there's only the one presence, the one power, that it's God, and that it's good. So this is our way, when we say I am, of uniting with it. We have the choice of aligning with this God presence or with something else. And so if we pause for a moment after we say I am to consciously ask, what quality of God do I want to identify with? Sherry gave great examples of qualities of God: abundance, health, wisdom. What do we want to identify with? And if we have a dream, something we're wanting to bring from idea into a part of our way of living, maybe the words that follow I am would be able to align with that. What quality of God would enliven my dream? Now, to create the I'm possible dream, one of the things I love about Unity is the brilliance of its co-founders. And so Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore says, and I love the way he words things, "As I lift up my I am, why all of my thoughts are attracted to the high place in my consciousness where I know I am spirit. because I am is the magnet. It is the focal point for the power of all ideas. And ideas are where our dreams start. What you call the I am is a lens, a focusing lens. And if you take that one white ray of infinite mind and focus it into your mind and begin to think about it, you produce a fire. And if you continue that long enough, that fire, every one of the cells of your body will vibrate on a higher plane. You will be lifted up. And that is the part of this process through which the Holy Spirit descends into consciousness. What he's describing there is the actual moment, the actual process of having this divine idea in unity. The Holy Trinity is mind, idea, expression. What he's saying right in that one little quote is the process of reaching up into the divine mind, picking that idea and bringing it into expression as you in your life. All through the words, I am. Pretty powerful stuff. So how can we use this big power to make our dream come true? Well, it would probably be no surprise to you who are familiar with Unity that the way we do this is through prayer, affirmation, and meditation. Again, Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore says that these are how we identify with the I am, because they are powerful tools for evoking the baptism of the Holy Spirit in the process of creation. Now in Unity, baptism means the symbolic act, a mental and spiritual process in which a person aligns with the Spirit of God. So imagine baptizing God into your process for creating your dream. I am is the true identity of every living soul, and the more consistently the conscious mind associates with this truth, the more I am reveals itself. Isn't that a very encouraging sort of a thing to know, that the more we in our own clunky way, even sometimes maybe even doing it wrong, but the more we keep practicing I am, and the more every so often, and it gets more and more and better that we have a conscious thought of identifying a quality of God and put it right after the I am, and we do that more and more often, then this I am, this oneness, this power is always revealing itself more and more to us. So it makes it more and more important that when we do have our prayer, when we do have our meditation, when we do create an affirmation, that we use the words I am in a very deliberate, intentional, and conscious way, that it aligns with whatever quality of God we want to make manifest and whatever dream we want to make manifest. So here we are. We're I-aming away. We're dreaming away. Is there anything else we could maybe be doing? Well, again, our co-founder Charles Fillmore suggests that we must learn to let go, to give up, to make room for the things that we have prayed for and desired. Well, denials are a great way to do this. And one of Unity's master teachers, H. Emily Cady, wrote a brilliant book, Lessons in Truth. And one chapter is on denials, and one chapter is on affirmations. And a denial is where we would say something like, fear has no power over me anymore. And then when we get that worry, when we get that fear out of the way, then we bring in an affirmation to fill that space. Another great way to clear space is through a burning bowl ceremony. And this is a ritual that is one of the few, if maybe the only one that Unity has. It's usually done at the beginning of the year. A great big, completely safe type of a container has a flame in it. People can write down what they'd like to release, let go of, put it in, and that obstacle turns into smoke and is returned to the universe. I had the thought, as so much new is happening for Unity of Ventura, being able to now meet in person, being now able to meet in this lovely space, maybe a burning bowl would be a good thing to do to create space for how you're emerging new. So what do we fill in this space that we've created through denials or burning bowl or however we may do it? We can fill the space with our imagination. Charles Fillmore says, imagination gives man the ability to project himself through time and space and rise above all limitations. I find myself often feeling limited by time and space. That's one of the things that makes me less spiritual, or maybe that's an excuse I use. But when I use my imagination, I love this thought that I can rise above time and space. Prosperity Master Teacher Catherine Ponder says, it is through imagination that the formless takes form. Well, this is wonderful. Here we are, we're in imagination, we're consciously choosing our I am statements. But what if that dream isn't really showing up yet? Or it's starting to look an awful lot different than how we thought it would. In fact, it may be even starting to look a lot like failure. Well, again, turning to Catherine Ponder, she says, often failure is success trying to be born in a bigger way. I love that because so often I hear that, well, failure is just God trying to redirect you in another direction and set your course in a more productive way. Well, why did it take so long? Why did I have to go off in a wrong direction for so long and fail if I was on the wrong direction to begin with? Oh, failure is just the universe opening up another door for you. Well, why did I have to stay knocking at the wrong door for so long? I love this perspective of failure is just going to make your success bigger. So you don't have to feel like what you're doing is wrong, like failure is wrong. There's something maybe even a bigger, shinier version of that in store for you. Well, how do I get to the big, shiny version? Through persistence. Persistence helps you to create this greater result. Okay, well, how do I be persistent then? Using your I am statements to stay focused on your dream. Unity Master Teacher Eric Butterworth says, the greatest mistake is in believing that we are only human. Here comes something really big. We are human in expression. Now, when I think of myself, and I think of I'm human, I put a period there. I'm human. And maybe, the spiritual part of me also, but I think of I'm human, period. But when I read this, I'm human in expression, the very next thought I had was, what's expressing me? What is expressing me in this human form? And when I went to that place, I already felt bigger, just imagining myself, knowing myself as human. But Eric Butterworth goes on to say, we are human in expression, but divine in creation. Oh, divinity is expressing me. Divinity is that breath that brought me into human form. And I had the feeling of oneness right there just in reading that part of this phrase. And then the last thing he says is, we are limitless in potentiality. What a great affirmation that is. So this statement, we are human in expression, but divine in creation, and limitless in potentiality, is a really great place to begin practicing I am statements that identify with God. I am human in expression. I am divine in creation. I am limitless in potentiality. Those are pretty big statements. They're pretty bold. And sometimes I'm a pretty messy human person. I just am. And some days, my days are just turning in a direction that is really hard for me to keep up with. And so believing that I am limitless in potential and divine in creation is a struggle. So I thought, well, where can I find comfort for when I'm in that place? How can I get through that? Oh, I know. I'll see what Myrtle Fillmore has to say on that, our Unity co-founder, who, for me, I think of Myrtle Fillmore as being the soft, emotional one. and Charles Fillmore as being the more cold, logical, austere one. Well, Myrtle Fillmore says, when you have trouble believing, for example, those I am statements, you do not have a problem except the one that is in your own mind. And you put it there, exclamation point. Well, I've taught Myrtle Fillmore's Healing Letters as a class several times, and I don't remember out of all of her letters her using an exclamation point very often, if at all. So boy, she means it. Take responsibility for what you're thinking. So as you create your dream, focus that power of I am on positive statements of the truth that you know in your soul and highest consciousness. That you are spirit, you are a human expression, you are divine in creation and limitless in potentiality. And if, when, in my case, you doubt this, remember that's a problem in your own mind, and you put it there. And you can change it with a new I am statement that reminds you of the truth of who you are and what your dream is. Using affirmations, prayer, and meditation to focus I am statements on qualities of God. Creating space by letting go of beliefs that are less than the truth of your soul. Filling that space with your imagination and recommitting to the power of I am will help you to create your dream, even if your dream is impossible. Thank you.